You're listening to a podcast by the Perennial Leader Project. Welcome back to Dying Every Day. This is day 135. A quick reminder before we get started, if you want to support this ad-free podcast, consider subscribing to Perennial Meditations on Substack. There you'll find transcripts of these episodes, along with many other benefits. Today, we're exploring the philosophy of happiness. Most people build happiness like a house on sand, on approval, outcomes, comfort, and conditions. It looks solid when the weather is calm, but when circumstances change, as they always do, the foundation gives way. Seneca insists the mistake is not bad luck, but bad architecture. You ask me, what is the foundation of a happy life, he writes. And his answer is not comfort, success, or favorable fortune. It is internal, a soul that is strong, upright, under control. Not a life without trouble, but a soul that can meet trouble without being diminished by it. Happiness, in this Stoic sense, isn't a mood you just fall into when things go well. It's a foundation, a way of constructing a life that doesn't fall apart when circumstances change. When Seneca talks about a strong soul, he isn't referring to hardness or emotional numbness. He's talking about steadiness, the ability to stay firm under pressure. A strong soul can be disappointed without becoming bitter. It can be corrected without falling into shame. It can be frustrated without becoming cruel. This is why Seneca starts from within. If your happiness relies on things that are easy to lose, praise, comfort, momentum, health, you'll always feel anxious. You'll be on edge, searching for threats to your well-being. But a strong soul does not constantly bargain with fate for permission to be at peace. Strength does not eliminate difficulty. It prevents difficulty from controlling you. Seneca's next requirement is a little more demanding. He states that the happy person is one who regards honor as the only good, dishonor as the only evil, and everything else as trivial. At first glance, that sounds severe, but what Seneca is doing is redefining value. If honor is the only true good, then your happiness cannot be bought, flattered, or intimidated out of you. If dishonor is the only true evil, then nothing that happens to you is catastrophic unless it corrupts your character. Money, reputation, health, pleasure, comfort, these matter, but they're not sovereign. They are circumstances, not verdicts. They are things you may use well or badly, but they cannot determine whether your life is good. This is where happiness becomes practical. It appears in everyday moments, telling the truth when lying would be easier, keeping a promise when breaking it would be tempting, refusing to trade your values for applause or relief. When Seneca says honor is the only good, he means the happy person can look at themselves without flinching. Seneca then adds the third pillar, a soul that is, quote, under control. This does not mean rigid or joyless. It means governed. He says the happy person follows reason rather than impulse or fear. Reason for the Stoic is not cold calculation. It is clarity, the ability to pause, assess, and choose rather than be driven by whatever feeling arrives first. And because feelings are persuasive, Seneca names the two forces that most often rule human lives. The happy person, he says, is not seduced by pleasure nor intimidated by pain. Pleasure is not evil, but it is convincing. It whispers, take the shortcut, indulge, avoid the discomfort. Over time, if pleasure becomes your standard, your freedom shrinks. You begin arranging life around ease instead of meaning. You become skilled at relief and unpracticed in endurance. Pain pressures from the other side. It threatens, it intimidates. It says, compromise so this goes away. Bend your values so you can be comfortable again. A person who cannot tolerate discomfort will eventually tolerate dishonor instead. To be, quote, under control, then is not to feel nothing. It is to refuse to be ruled. All of this leads to Seneca's most liberating claim. The happy person understands that external fortune has no bearing on what it means to live well. Fortune can decorate your life, it can complicate your life, it can test your life, but it cannot make it good. Seneca is separating two things we constantly confuse: the conditions of life and the quality of life. Conditions matter, but they are unstable. Happiness built on instability becomes anxiety. You can see the difference when trouble arrives. Some people collapse, not only because the loss hurts, but because their happiness was constructed out of what was lost. Others grieve, endure, and rebuild because what they valued most remains intact: honor, judgment, and self-control. A happy life is not a life that goes well, it is a life that stays well. So when Seneca asks, what is the foundation of a happy life? He's not offering a slogan. He's providing a blueprint. A soul that is strong, upright, and in control. One that values honor as the only good, refuses to be tempted by pleasure or intimidated by pain, and understands that fortune has no authority over living well. That is Seneca's happiness, not a mood, but a freedom. As a daily exercise this week, I have 2 questions and 1 action. First, where do you currently outsource happiness? Is it approval, comfort, control, certainty, productivity, outcomes? What do you treat as necessary to feel okay? Next, which pressure bends you most? Where are you most likely to be seduced by pleasure or intimidated by pain? And finally, 1 act of alignment. Name 1 specific choice you will make that places honor or virtue above comfort. What will you do and when? Thank you for listening to Dying Every Day, Stoicism in a Year. I hope you found something useful for daily life. If you enjoy what we're doing here and want to support the project, consider becoming a Perennial Meditations member. And finally, as always, I urge you to put what you heard into practice. Until next time, be wise and be well.